All right, so this Knife Thoughts EDC, or everything that doesn't cut video, is going to be a review of this flashlight, the Wurkkos FC12. And first of all, this flashlight was sent to me by Wurkkos, or someone from Wurkkos, so thank you to them for that. I really appreciate it. And it's a light that I've been interested in because I have been enjoying other Wurkkos lights. So first, I got the Wurkkos FC11, which you can see here, and I'll give you a better comparison in a little bit here. Then I got the Wurkkos TS21, and I really like both those lights. I will have reviews coming soon, but I posted a picture and someone reached out and asked if I was interested in this light, and I said yes, because I had considered getting it when both it and the FC11 were on sale on Amazon. So I wanted to check it out. Plus, I really wanted to have a purple flashlight, and I haven't really had a mechanical and e-switch light before this. So the only other one that I had was the CS Tabaka, which was very similar. It's really manufactured by the same manufacturer, but a little bit different form factor and different emitter and things like that. So I wanted to try the Wurkkos with the mechanical switch as well as the e-switch, whereas the FC11 and the TS21 just have the e-switch. So first of all, what is this? So this is an 18650 battery light. So I'll open it up here and show that this is the set version, which means that it comes with a battery, comes with an 18650 battery, and you can see that it's a 3000 mAh, 3.7 volt, 18650 battery, like is what comes with other Wurkkos flashlights, like an FC11. So same as you would get with that. You can also see that the threads are oiled or lubed, and everything is, nicely done on the flashlight. But I want to move on to the other stuff that you get in the box. So opening up the box, thanks for choosing Wurkkos. There is a little thing that tells you to take out the insulating film, otherwise it won't work. I'm sure they get complaints about that. And then to charge it before you turn it on. This light did need charged for a while before it was fully charged when I got it. So make sure you charge it when you get them. Here is some contact info, as well as join the Facebook group. They post deals and stuff like that. And then you get the user manual. So this has the ANSI chart. So you can see it's got some different modes. It goes up to 2000 lumens at turbo. Now it says 2.5 hours on that. It's not staying at 2000 lumens for 2.5 hours. It steps down, but those are the measurements. It also has a ramping mode, so that's a continuously ramping, so there's not discrete modes. It goes from 1 lumen to 2000. Now, interestingly, interestingly, it says that the eco, or what a lot of times is called moon, is 10 lumens on the step modes, but it goes lower here on the ramping. And I'll show you how that all works in a second here. But it also goes over some specifications of the battery and all that good stuff. So just your typical manual. Here's the operating instructions. And then it also comes with some bubble wrap. It comes with a lanyard and some extra O-rings, which is nice. If they wear out, you start to worry about it not being waterproof. And then with a USB-C charging cable so that you can charge it, because it does have USB-C onboard charging. So this is something that for a long time I was not a fan of, but having had a few Wurkkos and the CS Tabaka, which is manufactured in the same place, these are pretty well done. So previously I wasn't a fan of these covers because I didn't think that they were actually waterproof and that they wore out. These have held up well for me so far, and they seem to be well done enough that you don't really have to worry about them, you know, getting too much water in there. But you can see it has the USB-C port in there, and then you swing that back around, push it all back down into the slot there, and then you're good to go. So it is nice to be able to charge, not have to have a separate battery charger. I mean, I do have a separate battery charger, but it's nice to not have to do that for sure. It's just really convenient. As long as you have a charging block, you know, you can charge it. A lot of things use USB-C. So I do appreciate that. I've kind of come on board with that in the last few months here. Now, like I mentioned, this is a mechanical switch and e-switch light. So let's go ahead and turn it on here, and I'm going to turn it on into the lowest mode. How I do that is I hold the e-switch and click the mechanical switch. And this is a pretty low mode. This is that moonlight, and you can see that it's low enough that it's not really affecting the camera too much there. So it's nice that this has a really nice low mode. But speaking of the emitter, this is an SFT40 emitter, which is a pretty high-end emitter. So these LEDs, I'm not super, you know, up on the technical knowledge of them, but from what I've gathered diving into flashlights is that it's very much like steels. You know, emitters, you know, they create light. Even if it's a really low-end emitter, it'll create light and you can see things. But things like tint and bin, you know, which is, I think, like a group of tint. I'm not even 100% sure, but tint, color temperature, all things like that, all come together. The amount of candela, and whether it's domed or flat, all come together to, you know, make up a bunch of different tiers of LEDs and preferences among users. And from what I can gather, SFT40 is a relatively high-end emitter. It's a relatively kind of top-tier emitter, especially for a high output with good throw. So this light does have good throw, and it definitely is bright. And when I talk about the overall use of this, that's an important thing for, I think it's a good choice for this light because I see it as a tactical light. Now, the color temperature is 6500, so this is a cool white. It's not a warm temperature, but again, that goes in well with the use, and I'll talk about that in a second. Now, this does have the Anduril UI, so that means that a double click from on, oh, that was a triple click. A double click goes to turbo. I'm sorry about that. I hope nobody had any issues with that. But a triple click goes to strobe. So if you don't want to see strobe, you know, stop it, fast forward it for about 5 seconds. So triple click goes into strobe, like so. Now, if you double click and then double click, it doesn't go back down. So like, you know, something like Anduril, where if you double click and then click, now it goes back down. So double click, click, goes back down to the memorized mode. So you can see there's this ramped mode, which I mentioned earlier. And so we've got a little bit lower. If I double click, it goes to turbo. And then if I click again, it goes back down to the memorized mode. So you don't have to double click again to get back to that memorized mode. You can double click and then just click and it goes back down. So that's a nice thing. I like that it has access to turbo with double click, as well as having access to moonlight by holding the E switch while you click the mechanical switch. Now, the thing with both of those and with all of the manipulation of the UI is that because you have this mechanical switch that is pretty far up here, you really have to turn it on and then do any of that type stuff. So double click, you know, you could certainly use two hands like I have been to get the moonlight. And I have sometimes been able to hold down the E switch with my pinky finger and then use my thumb to click the mechanical switch to go into moonlight, but that's pretty difficult. So really, you're going to have this in whatever mode you have memorized. It does have memorized brightness. So, you know, if I make it a little brighter here, turn it off, it'll go back to that same brightness. You're going to turn it on with the mechanical switch into the memorized brightness, and then you can, you know, adjust the brightness if you need to. And honestly, while that's not, you know, ideal for kind of like an in-the-house general EDC type usage light, I don't think, it actually does work well with the tactical uses, which is what I think this is. Now, before we get into that, before we get into how I kind of conceptualize the use of this light, the one thing I want to make sure to mention is that I love this color. This purple is just awesome, and I have this purple Sencut Acumen. Just makes for a really cool combination there. So another reason to get this light, or a purple light from Wurkkos, is that you can have a really cool EDC duo. But anyway, I really love the purple. I think it looks really great. The machining is all really nice. It seems, you know, well done, nice and crisp, smooth where it should be. Just generally pretty well made, and just feels quality, to be honest. But moving into how I conceptualize the use of this light, this is really a tactical light. And I say that because it has this mechanical switch, and then the E-switch is so far away that really, when you pull this out of your pocket, you're going to click the mechanical switch and be right into using it, and just manipulate the brightness separately. So I do think that this is going to be mostly a tactical light, or a kind of like simple, you know, just using it for use light. Now, I should mention also, you can switch to, this is now in stepped mode. So if you click, it goes through the steps. And you get that by a quadruple click, so 4 clicks. Whoa. Now it's in ramped mode again. So that's how you change that. But I do see this as, you know, either just a simple use where you just turn it on, use it, don't worry about, you know, messing with all the different, you know, brightness levels and such, or as a tactical light where you use it to, you know, turn it on, have it be really bright, really fast, and be able to shine really far and disorient someone, scare someone away, see something that's far away from you, things like that. I think that would work really well for that with this good emitter and the relatively long head. That's another thing I wanted to mention, is that this is a relatively long light for an 18650 light. So now I'm going to give you some comparisons. So here is the Wurkkos FC12, also an 18650 light, but you can see it's significantly shorter. Then adding in the Convoy S2 Plus. The Convoy S2 Plus is very similar, just slightly longer than the FC11s, but still shorter than the FC12. Then here is the TS21. This is a 21700 battery, so it's a little bit wider, a little bit longer than 18650, but you can see it's still quite a bit shorter than the FC12. And then here is an MSR D4V2, and you can see that it's significantly shorter than the FC12. So it's not a small light, it's not a short light anyway. It's a relatively long light, actually. And so it's something where I think that that's in part because it has this mechanical switch on the tail. And it's also in part because it has this relatively long head and reflector, which makes it have even better throw. So I think that it's well designed for its intended use, which is as a tactical or kind of, you know, not hard use, but work light, tactical or work light. And I think that it will work really well for that. Now, one thing that I would change about this light is the clip. I know it seems like a lot of people like this type of clip. A lot of companies use this type of clip, Olight, other companies like that. I don't really like them. I mean, first of all, I don't wear baseball hats that much, and that's really my understanding what this is for, so that you can clip the light to a baseball hat. Secondly, they're just hard to actually clip onto a baseball hat. So because, a baseball hat's bill is relatively thick, they're kind of hard to actually clip on. Then this light is also really long, so it's kind of close to your face and sticking out far. And then I also find this type of clip to be harder to put into your pocket, because as compared to this, where it has this upturned lip, that guides the light into your pocket really well, compared to this where it's just rounded. That makes it so that the lip of your pant pocket just kind of hits that. And I find it to be a lot harder to put in and out of a pocket. Now, again, if you're carrying this as a tactical light where you're not taking it in and out and using it a whole bunch, you're just having it in case you need it and want to be able to take it out of your pocket quickly, that's not a huge deal. But I do prefer this type of clip over the two-way clip. The TS21 also has a two-way clip, same deal. I don't prefer it over the one-way clip. What I would prefer is like on the D4V2, where you can change the direction of clip. Why I prefer that is that if you have this type of clip and you want to clip the light to your head or to your hat, you can just switch it. Now you can clip it to your hat. I do prefer that over the two-way clip. So, just a thought on that. But I think that overall it is a really good tactical light, especially for the money. These Wurkkos lights are pretty budget friendly. This light is about $30, maybe a little bit more, $35, but they often go on sale, like I mentioned earlier. So, you can wait for a sale either on Wurkkos' site, AliExpress, or even Amazon, and you can get it for a pretty good deal that I think makes it a really good value. So if you're looking for a tactical but carryable light that's not going to be super expensive, won't break the banks, pretty budget friendly, then I think the Wurkkos FC12 is a really good option. It has a good emitter, it has an easy to use UI once you actually turn the mechanical clicky on. The clip isn't perfect for me, but it will work well in a tactical kind of environment, and it just looks really good too. So again, thank you to Wurkkos for sending this light. I really appreciate it. I love getting to carry and use these. I did carry and use it. You might see some, wear marks on it and stuff. And I enjoyed carrying and using it. So thanks again to Wurkkos. If you enjoy this type of video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell, select all, so you know when I post new videos. Also, make sure you check out my social media. I am on Instagram and Facebook at Knife Thoughts, and my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives and EDC related items like flashlights. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.